In July of 2012, Limtol International conducted 2-hour fire testing at UL Labs in Northbrook, Illinois. Testing involved Precom HSL FR400, FR450, as well as J40L and J70L winged expansion joints. Testing was performed in compliance with UL 2079 standards, utilizing a full-scale 14 by 17 foot concrete floor slab. 6 expansion joint types were tested with a max gap opening of 7 inches. Concrete blockouts were prepared prior to installation of the expansion joint systems. The Precom HSL expansion joints were laid out in preparation for installation. 2-part epoxy bonding adhesive was trowel applied to the expansion joint gap opening in preparation for installation. Care is taken to ensure that the epoxy completely covers the entire joint gap sidewall. The Precom HSL joint seal is then unwrapped and installed into the prepared joint gap opening. Splices are treated utilizing an intumescent sealant along the central portion of the end cut. A bead of silicone is then placed along the top and bottom edge of the splice. As the joint seal is installed, force is applied to the splice location as the joint is pressed into the joint gap opening. Once the expansion joint seal is completely installed, a bead of silicone sealant is applied along the joint interface on each side at the location where it abuts the concrete floor system. The sealant bead is then tooled to complete the installation process. All 3 of the J-Series wing joint installations utilize UltraBlock fire barrier in their design. The UltraBlock fire barrier is sized in its width and depth to accommodate proper joint gap opening and hourly fire rating desired. Splicing of the fire barrier is an integral component of the fire testing procedure. We see here the splice being cut and prepared. Following of procedures is critical to a proper splicing and a successful installation. Prior to installation of the UltraBlock fire barrier, the blockouts are prepared utilizing Isoflex Primer number 10, a 2-component urethane primer. The UltraBlock fire barrier is then folded and inserted into the expansion joint gap opening. Specially designed insertion plates aid in the process of installing the UltraBlock fire barrier. The UltraBlock is recessed in the joint gap opening to allow space for the J-Series wing seal. With the fire barrier now in place, the J-Series wing seal is compressed and inserted into the expansion joint gap opening. The next step in the process is to mix and install the Isoflex 910 tack coat material. Utilizing a bulk caulking gun, the 910 tack coat is injected underneath the wing flange of the J-Series seal. The final aspect of the wing joint installation is to mix the 3 components of the Isoflex 900 elastomeric concrete and to place it into the expansion joint blockout. This completes the installation of our 6 expansion joint systems in preparation for the 2-hour fire testing program. July 9, 2012, the 2-hour fire testing program was conducted. Testing was conducted at the Underwriters Laboratory in Northbrook, Illinois, utilizing a full-scale floor furnace. The various joint systems installed could be inspected from within the furnace prior to testing. Splices in the UltraBlock fire barrier were evident upon inspection. The splice locations of the Precom HSL were also easily recognized. Thermocouples located in the furnace monitor the time temperature curve throughout the 2-hour duration of the fire test. Various computer monitors within the control room track progress throughout the 2-hour test. A total of 42 thermocouples are located on the top side of the 6 expansion joint locations. Testing parameters limit the heat rise of any one thermocouple to no more than 325 degrees over ambient. Testing requirements also limit the average heat rise for all thermocouples at one joint location to no more than 250 degrees over ambient temperature. Temperatures within the furnace shall reach 1,000 degrees within the first 5 minutes of testing. Ultimately, thermos temperatures shall reach 1,850 degrees Fahrenheit. Once the 2-hour time frame has been achieved, the concrete floor slab is removed from the furnace. The superheated concrete floor slab is then transported by overhead crane to the location where fire hose stream test is conducted. Once in place, a 30 psi hose stream is subjected to the assembly. Passing of the hose stream test allows the assemblies to be utilized in wall applications. The outcome of this testing will be a number of new listings for our Isoflex expansion joint systems. In summary, the results are: Precom HSL FR400, FR450, 2-hour rated, max joint gap 5.5 inches, slab depth 4.5 inches, approved for floor and wall applications. J40L winged expansion joint, 2-hour rated, 4.5 inch max gap with a 5-inch slab depth. J70L winged expansion joint, 2-hour rated, 7-inch max gap, and a 6-inch slab depth. For more information on these and our other products, please visit us at limtol.com.